The Upper Room with Joe Kelley, and I've been playing this CD for the last couple weeks as soon as I got it. And you folks know Jill Jones from her days backing up Teena Marie and also her Paisley Park days with Prince up in Minneapolis and the movie Purple Rain. But she has been hard at work all these past years, and we're going to find out what she has been doing and also the making of her CD too, which is a co-production, and I guess she says it's 50% with her writing and collaborating partner, Mr. Chris Bruce. And right now, without further delay, she's taking time out of her busy schedule. We welcome to the Up Room with Joe Kelley, Jill Jones. How you doing, Jill?
I'm good, thank you.
So, two, and it's you state that you and Chris have an equal share on this one, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. What was the Actually, let me go back to how you met Chris Bruce. By the way, a fantastic musician.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing. I love Chris.
How did you guys meet up?
I met Chris, I'd say about, 10 or 11 years ago, maybe even longer. I can't quite remember, but it was sort of after I completed my first album, and a friend had recommended him. My friend Tony had recommended that I work with this guy, and so he flew out from Chicago and stayed at my house, and I was living in LA at the time, and we just started writing then, sort of preparing for that second album, and that just never really came out. I mean, on Paisley, that definitely didn't happen, but, we continued our friendship, and through, him being in California, a lot of other people started going, who's this guy she's working with? And then he went on to work with, of course, Wendy and Lisa, and he got along very well with them and spiritually, and started working with them and moved on to Seal and, of course, T-Bone Burnett and all these different musicians who he's worked with. It's like he's got a really huge range. So, I mean, at least I'm happy that, that I have continued that relationship with him. He's like my brother.
Now you've been recording for, wow, I don't know how many years. Could we even say the 70s, the late 70s?
When I first started, yeah.
Right.
I mean, I was still in school, and my mother had been managing Teena Marie, so I just started singing along with Teena because she moved into our house, and basically we shared a bathroom, so I would hear her playing guitar a lot of times and go in and just started writing a few songs with her. And I guess the best way I seem to work with people is when they come and live with me.
That's the secret of Joe Jones' success, right?
I think so.
Now, going back, you were talking about how you first got into music. Is there any different way, that the time has passed, yourself working in the studio with a guy like Chris Bruce? Are you more proficient, or you record differently?
Yeah, I mean, technology has changed, but basically we still start with ideas. I mean, in the beginning I was a little bit more timid about musical choices all the time. I mean, I wasn't sort of exercising like my abilities in, I guess, instrument as much as I do now. Now I'm a lot more involved. Like, I don't have any problem playing the guitar, and even though I'm pretty limited, I still kind of have an idea of a song, and so we initiate things very differently than we used to. Before, we used to work sometimes just with track ideas that he had, and then we'd sit down and work on those. But now it's just sitting down with the guitar. That's pretty much the basis. We start from the ground up.
And if you take a look at Jill Jones' website, which I'm going to give the information right now, it's www.jilljones.net. You can see some great pictures of yourself with kind of, it looks like a classic guitar, right? What kind of guitar do you have in the photos on there?
That's an ovation that my friend had given me. My friend just gave it to me. I actually have a guild now that I really like. Ovation is good to write on, but it's that, it was good for that. I love the guild, though. I love my guild.
Well, since we've been talking about the CD too, which is Jill Jones and Chris Bruce, we're going to kick into the first single to be released from that, which, by the way, I believe is available for free download on Liquid. Is it liquidaudio.com or liquid.com?
Liquidaudio.com.
Okay. It's a great song, and I must say, I got to give you a compliment on it. You make a brother do homework because the lyrics, I could tell you're into lyrics and making people think. What was going into writing the lyrics to Station?
Station. I lost someone pretty close to me, and it took me a few years for that song to come about. I think you just go through, you lose people, and then you go on, and you don't really know if you've grieved or anything. You just continue on as if nothing happened, and then one day, out of the blue, it just kind of hits you. And Station is about basically, I can still be with this person or be with them on this plane, on this whole other level. And so that was kind of a very important step for me to make, just personally and creatively as well. But it really was a very big step for me to do that. It was a healing, and that's what that's pretty much about.
Okay, those are the words of Jill Jones, my special guest here on the Upper Room with Joe Kelley, and we're going to listen to this right now. Station from Jill Jones and Chris Bruce from 2. And that was Station from Jill Jones and Chris Bruce's CD called 2, and I'm going to let Jill let our listeners know where they can exactly order right now. I got to give her props for independent release, and our support will be there. But Jill, where can the listeners out there order your great CD?
Of course, www.jilljones.net. That's the site. So that would be the easiest.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I periodically, I every day check out to see what people think and get an idea of what they feel about things. It's really been very interesting to have this happen, and I've gotten a lot of response. And I don't know, I just like this whole internet business a lot because you reach so many people,
Right.
and it's kind of like finding old friends or even new ones.
And you're going to have a good laugh at some of the comments, right?
Some of them,
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And we have to give thanks to Mr. Dave Hunnell for being a man of his word and making it happen, right? Those are your words, but
yeah, he has been a man of his word. He is. Those people are hard to find, and when you find them, you've got to hang on to them.
Because it's really cool because on your website that you have the kind of the panoramic vision of you in the studio and clips with the interviews. So, hey, I think it's being an independent artist. You're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I think it's important for anyone who is creative to do as much as they can to get people to, I guess, hear or see, or you just never know. It's a whole new time right now, a new era. And like I said, it reaches so many different people and inspires different people. And that's the best thing. No one is really limited anymore.
We mentioned as an independent artist on Dave Music. What avenues are you taking to let the folks know about the release?
We've been doing interviews. I know that Chris is actually on tour right now with Doyle Bramhall, who's opening for Eric Clapton. So it's been a little difficult to get that together for the band, but I believe when he gets off of the tour, we're going to have a talk about going out and doing a few gigs and just promoting it.
You didn't load up his suitcase with about 50 CDs?
CDs, yeah.
To sell, right?
Hey, I might have to.
Right. Okay, we'll go back to the days about you getting up to Minneapolis, if you don't mind. How eventually did you move to Minneapolis?
Well, I met Prince, and then I had called him and just said I wanted to work. So we started working together, and then after that, I moved there. But I mean, I mainly kept an apartment there. I liked Minneapolis a lot, but around that time there was, we were traveling quite a bit, and then eventually I moved to Europe and started working with different people. I mean, I'm happy that the whole Paisley Park thing opened up a lot of other avenues and exposure for me to make friends. I like to feel really connected to the people that I work with. Um, Somehow I have to feel that there is a connection, and I'm happy that that happened in with the Twin States, and then that just sort of moved on because I've met some really amazing people all over the world.
Do you have a particular favorite recording during your Paisley Park days?
Of songs that were released or songs that weren't released?
Either or.
Um, I think I would say I still really like Violet Blue. I always like that song. But it's hard because now, I mean, looking back, I so rarely listen to it. It's kind of like another person, just sitting back and going, oh, okay, I can appreciate it and look at how I evolved. But it's kind of like looking at an old photo album and you're like, oh, look at that funny hairstyle.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was looking at the liner notes because I from the beginning when the tape came out, we were saying tape back then, but I was actually taking a look at the liner notes today. Jelly Bean Johnson, he's a good friend. He was on For Love, so yeah.
He's an amazing guy. I mean, I've been fortunate to like I said, meet some people that I really think. But it's all in a moment of time too. We're so, I don't know, sort of like gypsies anyway. But it's good to make the contact when you can, and it's also good to know when you need to exit the room.
Right.
Basically.
So I mean, you don't necessarily have to go into huge detail, but the album which was never released, what kind of stuff would have been on there?
Well, it was leaning more into what Chris and I were doing, and really no one has those tracks. No one. I have yet to see it on eBay, which is a good thing.
Right.
Because we were doing a little harder, edgier music at the time, and a lot heavier with guitars. And still some funky grooves because Chris is a master of those too. The reason we selected on this new CD not to go that route, I think, because we just that week, or we just got into a whole different vibe and just started writing, and that's kind of what came about.
So when you release a CD, which just became available a couple of weeks ago, I guess, what is your mindset? Do you have it bumping in your ride all day long, or you take a little break from it, or?
I've been listening to it, but I've been writing again.
Mm-hmm.
And then also coming up with ideas for it, basically for how I would even explain these songs to anyone. I don't usually explain my songs. It's a little difficult, but I feel that this project has been another important step that had to be made.
Do you get emails or words from fans that kind of give you their interpretations of the lyrics that kind of surprise you?
Yes, I have. I mean, I kind of like that, though. I kind of dig that a lot because I'm like thinking, well, I'd rather that they have their own feeling to it and attachment, and that's a good sign. I like that.
Well, we're going to listen to another track right now from Jill Jones and Chris's Bruce too, and this has some really great lyrics on it, and hopefully one day we'll figure it out. And because Jill said she'll let us have a go at it ourselves. It's called Gorgeous Wonder. And how did you and Chris work with this one in the studio?
Gorgeous Wonder is, I will say what this one is about. It is about, this one's about my daughter. I have a 7-year-old, and it sounds really cheesy and corny, but it is, because after all the uh, turmoil and things that kind of go on in one's life, it's always nice to have an epiphany or something that comes along that is just something special and beautiful and can kind of take you away from all the garbage. So that's what it's about.
How's she feeling your music? She get into it?
Um, she likes her own kind of music. She likes my music, but she's my daughter, so.
Right.
But she has her own choice of music. She's been listening to, I don't know, the normal pop music and little Bow Wow, which is a shock. It's cute because the kids, they learn so early, and you know what? She doesn't have any problem with lyrics. Don't you remember when you were little, you knew the words before your parents?
Right, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
So we're going to get into a song right now, which we mentioned, Gorgeous Wonder, and this is dedicated to Jill Jones's daughter. And we'll listen to it right now. This is Joe Kelley in the Up Room. We'll be back and talk a little more with Jill Jones. And we're back right now. This is Joe Kelley in the Upper Room, and it's been a really nice pleasure to talk with someone who I've been following her career since the early 80s. And for people out there, Jill Jones was in Purple Rain with Prince, and she played a waitress back then, and it seems so long ago. We're probably around the same age, and
probably.
things move on, and life gets better, and I'm going to take you a little bit back to Ohio and ask you, what kind of music was Jill Jones listening to back
in
then?
Ohio? Oh,
when you were growing up?
I guess the town that I grew up in. I mean, the radio stations that we got pretty much were playing bands like, I don't know, there were a lot of bluegrass stations that came through, which is really funny. And then, of course, I had my exposure to Hendrix and Zeppelin and things like that because of my cousins or somebody, older, bringing things in. And a lot of jazz stuff that my mother, and she pretty much was, checking out. I don't know, but I always tried to buy imports. In fact, I always did. I'd go and buy things that were very rare, especially if I'd see something in the city, and then I'd go home with a new record that I knew no one could have. It was kind of good. I mean, at one point, I really got into the Pixies a lot, I'll tell you that. And I really liked, I really used to love the Cocteau Twins. And, I sort of got into that whole 480 label heavily.
So these days, do you still buy a lot of CDs?
Yeah, I guess I do. I mentioned on my site, I really liked the band at the drive-in because I like the whole energy and just this whole wickedness. I just love that. It's just very fresh to me. I mean, there's a lot of great talent out there, but I like to go on and just try to find different people if I go on, check out different sites. I like doing that a lot.
And I like the touch that you've added to your websites, like you mentioned that you mentioned who you've been listening to, or Sophie B, Call Me, and who's Sophie B? Is that Sophie B Hawkins?
No, did I put Sophie B Hawkins? No.
No, it just said Sophie B on the message, one of the up-to-date news. So maybe I read it wrong.
Sophie B, Call Me. That's my friend in France.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, Sophie, I hope she called you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I can't find her number.
Oh, okay. I got you. And people, you really need to check out Jill Jones's website, which is jilljones.net, because it directs you to all the sorts of places you can order her great CD with Chris Bruce, Jill Jones, Chris Bruce Call 2. And also there's interview clips and video clips, and also links to different sites which Jill has worked with. Now, I wanted to ask you this, besides being up front and doing your own thing, you've been in some bands doing background vocals, Sinead O'Connor, and you did some stuff with Chic.
Right.
How do you approach something like that? I mean, you've been doing it for such a while, but how does vocalists treat that?
Oh, to sing with another singer?
You're right, and just
It's really, I don't know, Niall, when we did the gigs in Japan for Deep, that was different. I mean, he called me and sort of he and Bernard, because Bernard was alive at the time, they sort of knew what they wanted. And I had no problem because I know what I wasn't going into the job trying to duplicate the old Chic, that whole thing. It was just, they knew that, and that's what they wanted. So that there wasn't a problem with that. And with Sinead, she's got to be like the best person to sing with because she's just amazing. She gives everybody room, and she's I would say she is probably the easiest person that I've ever sung with and sung for. She's the easiest. And I know that sounds really bizarre to say. She is not difficult. And also, and I thought, well, yeah, no, she's the easiest. She was the easiest. And I think that's because she's so secure about her position. And I really respect that.
Now, on all your travels across the world, do you have any spots you would like to one day take Jill Jones, maybe Chris Bruce tour too, that really stand out?
I want to go to Costa Rica, but I don't know if I'm going to pitch for a gig. But I don't know. Um, like I said, I've traveled a lot, but it's usually been because of work. So somewhere I seem to be making it around the globe. Um, I'd like to. I'm sure there's so many places. I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens. I'm pretty open.
So, if the fans, I'm sure they wanted to see you take your show out live and playing in the live setting. What are the tentative plans to going out on tour?
Like I said, when Chris gets off of the road with Doyle, and I said he was out with Doyle Bramhall, then we're going to have a big talk and see what's going on. I mean, he's pretty much been on this tour for, God, about 6 months. So it's been a long tour.
Are you looking for just vocals and guitar, or are you looking for a band feel?
No, there would be a band.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And I'd probably be playing as well.
Just get the your guitar out there, right?
Yeah.
So what other instruments are you consider yourself proficient on?
I started out playing piano when I was a lot younger. And, I mean, I can still, hit a few notes, whatever. I mean, certainly not, you know, anyone, anything to stop the traffic. Or maybe it would stop traffic, really. But, I don't know. Basically, I'm really happy with the guitar. I like, I don't know, I just like the sounds that are coming from it right now for me. I feel a little bit more secure. Also, it's nice to stand there and be playing. Keyboard, I don't know. Sorry, I'm rambling on.
How about you mentioned you're back doing some writing? What would be a typical day of Jill Jones writing songs, or do you have it's random on how the inspiration?
Writing a couple of tracks for someone, a couple of dance bands in the UK right now, and basically I do that as well. I mean, not every song that I'm writing is really for myself either. Sometimes people send me things and say, well, would you write on this or whatever? So I'm like, okay. Like I don't know, a couple of years back, wrote this song for Lisa Lisa. It was on her L7 record. And that was through my friend Gio, who gave me guitar, actually. He and I kind of co-produced that together, and then she sang it. So it was really, yeah, a lot of the songs I don't really sing. They're not always for me. And that's kind of a good outlet, too, because I know the one stuff I think it's sort of ravey. It's really trippy. It's a whole different kind of sound than I would do for myself.
The always evolving Jill Jones, right? Yeah, with
Mm-hmm.
different styles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really have to thank you, Jill, for the time spent this afternoon. And like I said, we're going to be supporting the new record, Jill Jones and Chris Bruce, too.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you somewhere on the East Coast touring. And we've got some nice spots out here. I was putting the plug into one of the clubs, playing the album the other day, and they were really impressed. So.
Really?
Yeah.
There was someone playing it?
Actually, down at the station, we have an assistant from an acoustic place down here, and we were listening to the tracks on my show, and he loved it. So.
Oh, that's great.
So.
Well, that's very nice.
Why don't we go out with a couple songs from your CD? I was thinking of playing Kangaroo, and let's see, you feeling any other track we didn't play?
The Mission.
Yeah, The Mission. And we're going to listen right now to two songs from Jill Jones and Chris Bruce, too, Kangaroo and The Mission. And people out there, check out the lyrics and also go to jilljones.net for all the ordering information. You can check out the sound clips and actually download the first single, Station, which is a pretty cool thing for you to do.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, best wishes, Jill.
Thank you very much.